Today on the Joy Sutton Show, how do you know if he's the one? The author of Wise Courtship shows us how to tell a stud from a dud. On Girl Talk, are you networking yourself right out of a job? We're talking networking no-nos. And sip on this, why tea is one of the hottest beverages for a healthy diet. The Joy Sutton Show starts now.
Welcome to the Joy Sutton Show. When it comes to love and choosing a mate, it's one of the most important decisions you can make in your life. But how do you really choose wisely? They say love is often blind, and I have been there. So how can you tell if he is really the one? Today joining us is the author of Wise Courtship, Toni Henderson-Mayers, and she says there is a way to reduce your chances of marrying a frog instead of your prince. So you're going to tell us a lot about this, and I read your book, and I just thought it was so impactful because many of us are doing it wrong. It led you to write this book. What did you find was the issue? What are we doing wrong?
You really want to know what you're getting. You don't want to be surprised in the end. So you want to really take the time and do the due diligence that it takes to find the person that matches your personality, matches what you want to do in your life, and so that you can pair yourself with this person and live a fulfilling life and really enjoy that relationship.
Do you think love is blind?
It can be. It can be, because love is extremely emotional. And what I'm asking people to do is to be a little more factual so that when the feelings come, it'll work together. But if you allow the feelings to happen first and do no work and find no facts out, it can be very blind.
So you say you got to fact check, and you said there's a 3-step process to fact check. Number one, you say interview. What does that mean?
Interview sounds stuffy, but what it really is like what we're doing. We're just talking. We're getting to know one another. We do that on dates. You know, where do you work? Do you have siblings? We ask those casual type questions. With this interview technique, you want to be a little more purposeful about how you are asking the questions.
Because what are you trying to find out?
You're trying to find out if this person is best suited for you. You want to also find out if they're authentic. For instance, if they say that they're shy, you know, you're gathering information in this stage so that later when you hit your other steps, that you're able to take that initial information
and see if it lines up.
See if it lines up.
So you're really trying to get to know the person and asking those right questions. Any critical questions we should ask that you tell women that they need to know?
Well, you know, it depends on your priority list and what's important to you. Well, certainly we want people to be able to work. We want people to be able to take care of themselves.
Do you have a job? Is the person
Absolutely. We want to make sure they're not hatchet murderers. But other than that, if you're interested in having children, that may be one of the questions that will be on your top priority list to, you know, pull that information. Do you even like children? That may be how it starts. So your list would depend on what's important to you.
What's important to you. Moving on, you said observation.
Yes.
What does observation mean?
Observation means, do I see what I thought you told me earlier on in the interview phase? You get a lot of information from looking at people.
Just looking. And I know one thing you said is that you should observe their friends, them around their friends, and bring them around your friends. Finally, you say investigation and research. So your observation, your interviewing. What is the investigation? What does that mean? Do you recommend doing a background check? Is that what you're saying?
Well, you can. I mean, you know, it just depends on the stage in the relationship. But certainly if you want a background check, you may want to figure out why do I want one? And you may have already answered your questions. So investigation helps us to look deeper to see if we really got our facts straight.
So how do you know? That sounds like a lot, because you don't want to take the romance out of it.
No.
I mean, you over here with private investigators. My mom says I am like a reporter, probably on many dates. But how do you not get so deep in that you keep that balance, but that you also figure out he's the one? Is there something that will tell you he's the one?
Well, he's the one is when facts and feelings meet together.
So facts and feelings meet together.
Yeah,
I love that.
It's a perfect match.
Okay, when we come back, we're going to hear from some singles, and you're going to be giving us some additional advice. But that is cool that we really need to be doing our research, and our facts and our feelings need to line up, or he is not the one. And we'll be right back.
Coming up.
Were there a lot of frogs out there?
There's just a lot of lonely people that want relationship, and some are ready and some aren't. I wasn't ready.
back with the author of Wise Courtship, Toni Henderson-Mayers, and we're also joined by Sandy Fink and Tanya Coles, who are two single ladies who have a lot to say about the dating scene. And I thank you so much for sharing your stories. And I know, Sandy, years ago, we had you on the show before. Back then, you were looking for love, girl. You were trying everything, online dating. Yes. I mean, really going through it. What have you learned about the dating process? And a lot of what Toni said about doing your research. Were there a lot of frogs out there?
There's just a lot of lonely people that want relationship, and some are ready and some aren't. I wasn't ready for a lot of the time. I wasn't.
So you thought you were ready?
I thought I was ready. It's a process, and I guess the biggest thing that I can say is stay in the present, okay? It's nice to have dreams. It's a good thing to draw from the past, as long as you're learning from it and becoming better for it. But I don't know how to say this nicely, but 1 foot in the present, 1 foot in the past, 1 foot in the future, and you're going potty all over the present. Okay. You can't enjoy learning about somebody and knowing them if your head is constantly on the final destination.
Oh, that's a good one. So you're saying don't be so focused on the marriage, but be in the moment, because you were so focused on finding a husband. You want to fall in love with
that person. You don't want to fall in love with the idea
of
the relationship.
Is so critical, because I think even Tanya, just thinking about your own experience as a single lady, it's when you're single, you do fall in love sometimes with the idea. What have you learned? Are there a lot of frogs, or what have you experienced?
Well, I won't actually say there are a lot of frogs out there, but I will say that sometimes the person might be right, but not necessarily right for you. And so a lot of times it's not necessarily the person has a lot of issues or problems, but they're not a good fit for me. Because one of the things that the singles have to remember is that when we do choose to join our life with somebody, we're not only just joining our life, but we're joining destiny and purpose with that person.
Ooh, that's
and
deep.
so therefore, not only is my life going to be connected to you, but also my future and my destiny is connected to that person.
You don't want to pick the wrong person.
Exactly, because I have a history of that.
Oh, you do? You have a history of picking the wrong person.
Oh, yes.
Did you? So you were kissing a lot of the wrong ones?
Oh, yes, definitely. Oh, definitely. I have lots of great stories to tell. I do.
And I think, Sandy, that is part of the process when we think about it, is really listening to ourselves and being willing to surrender that part, but really listening. And once you started listening to yourself, what did you find that happened, and even doing your research?
I met somebody.
Oh, okay.
And he's wonderful. He's a wonderful man. I have learned it's not about what you get from a relationship, it's about what you put into it. And if you're more focused on being an asset and being a part of that person's life to make their life better, then it comes back to you triple-fold. It really does.
I love that. And Toni, when you hear their stories, what does this come up for you? Because we're talking about wise courtship. It's not just about investigating that person, but are you authentically you?
Absolutely.
How do we need to do some of our own soul searching in this process?
Absolutely. One of the things I mentioned very early on in the book, and I really want to do some more work on that, is in order to be ready, we have to think about just various categories in our lives. Are we emotionally ready? Are we spiritually ready? Intellectually ready? Financially ready? All of these things that we want to bring to the table.
And you know, I've heard someone say that if you're not where you should be, you attract the wrong stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Do you find that in your life, before you really got to the point that you surrendered and knew what you really were looking for, were you just attracting all of the wrong things?
Oh, definitely. Because, you know, those things, those experiences in my life drew those types of people into my life. And once I got to a place where I really knew who I was and really knew what I wanted and knew what was best for me, then you start to attract those types of things into your life.
So I'm going to ask you this, Sandy, now that you've met this guy, how do you think you know if the person is the one then?
Spending time together. It's important to do one-on-one. Watching them walk the walk. Seeing
do they line up?
Do they line up? What do they have to offer somebody who has absolutely nothing to offer them? You know, how are they treating the server on a date?
Oh, I love that. How are they treating the server on the date?
Listen to their phone conversations with their mother or with their son. You can tell by the tone of their voice how they care about them or how they don't care about them.
What I hear you saying is you have to go in with your heart guarded and your eyes and ears open and let it be a process. What about for you, Tanya? Do you find, what would you say, how will you think you'll recognize that he's the one?
I think that I'll recognize he's the one because one thing that we have to remember is we can't choose charisma over character. And a lot of times
that is good. Did you say we can't choose charisma over character?
We cannot, because charisma will draw and attract. but we have to measure their character and look at the sum total of their life. It's because we do romanticize and we get so far ahead and so caught up on the future.
Okay.
You know, we have to observe and take our time to observe
I love that. Take your time. And Toni, final thoughts from you. How long do you think this investigation, research, and all this process takes? Do you recommend people give it a year, 3 months? How long is your recommendation to really get to know someone so that you're not going into love blindly? Your final thought.
Generally speaking, you take the whatever time is necessary to get it done. However, if you're older, it should take a short amount of time, and if you're younger, it should take a longer amount of time. And that's just because of our ability to recognize what we see and the wisdom to know what to do with it.
Very good. Ladies, you have some great advice and telling us what we need to keep in mind, because a lot of us are single and we're looking for the one, and we do not want to end up with the frog. And we will be right back.
Up next on The Joy Sutton Show.
Do you think it's okay if you're networking with that person and they're on a higher level than you to post that picture of you and them on Facebook without their permission?
Today on Girl Talk, our panelists are Amanda Marshall, a PR maven and blogger who is known for her fashion and beauty expertise. Deja Hatch, a fashion, glamour, and commercial model, motivating single moms like herself not to give up on their dreams. And Melissa Dowdy, aka the Comic MD. For more than 15 years, she's been bringing laughs to audiences nationwide.
They say networking is one of the keys to getting to the top in your career, but can you take it too far and end up being a bugaboo? Well, today we're talking about networking do's and don'ts, and I have my lovely panel of ladies here, and this is a huge one because many of us know that it's all about who you know.
Right.
And networking is critical if you want to move up the career ladder. So I'm going to give you guys some scenarios, and we're going to kind of talk our way through it and see what we think. Number one, calling or texting the same day after you meet someone. Deja, you already have a look on your face about this one.
I know. I usually, after I do an interview, whether it be a phone interview or a face-to-face interview, I always send an email after that stating, thank you for taking your time out to interview me. I look forward to hearing from you. And then I leave it at that.
But do you do that the same day?
Yes, I do. I do it after the interview.
Do you feel like it can be overstepping bounds if you are too aggressive right away?
I think I keep it really short.
Yeah.
Hey, appreciate your time today.
So you do it the same day?
I do.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Amanda, you feel the same way?
I don't think that's a bad idea. I definitely would not text. I think that would be a little strange, but I like to write a thank you note. I really believe in snail mail. I think it's more personal. I think it shows you took the time.
Right, exactly.
And then they'll get that a couple days later. I think that's just as good.
So maybe the snail mail. Okay, next one. And we all are in the phone age, so we're all taking pictures, you know, and stuff like that. Do you think it's okay if you're networking with that person and they're on a higher level than you to post that picture of you and them on Facebook without their permission? You're shaking your head. No. Why?
Facebook and social media can be very personal. I know personally, I'm not going to friend request my boss because, you know, you have a lot of your personal life on there.
Exactly.
And I think it's just crossing a boundary.
You think this so too, Melissa?
Well, it's different.
Because in your industry, you want to be like, hey, I'm here with Steve Harvey.
Yeah. No, so I think it depends on the industry. Like, I think it's important that I put, they want to be tagged. They want to be seen.
Yeah.
I want to be tagged. I want people to say, yeah, I was hanging out with her, I worked with her, whatever.
So it just depends on the industry.
Yeah,
like you
like
said,
the modeling industry too, I would agree with that
thing.
as well. You do want to take pictures with them. They want you to promote them just as much as they want to promote you. They want to get their name out there.
Hugging people. I'm a hugger. And I noticed, I did this one time. I went up to hug somebody and they put out their hand. I was like, hi. I mean, I felt really odd about it. So do you think hugging crosses a boundary, Melissa?
I love hugs, but I never initiate hugs.
Okay.
So it doesn't bother, I mean, I just don't want to make anybody uncomfortable, so I just stand back.
You just stand back.
I will
Networking
hug
no
away.
for you if somebody just...
I think it depends. If you're networking among friends or people that you know, possibly, then you've already have an established relationship. Otherwise, absolutely not.
Yeah. Does it turn you off if somebody just comes up and starts, you know, if you met somebody and they're like, hey, Deja?
It doesn't necessarily turn me off, but I'm more of a hi, my name is, and shake your hand. I think a nice,
So will you
firm
push them
handshake.
away, or will you kind of
No,
like
I mean, I
react?
would still give them a hug.
It's just
Some
like one of
people
those
are,
pat-pats?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just,
Hey.
I love that. People have gotten so comfortable these days that they do this. They ask you for help when they don't even know you yet. Have you had that, you know, they're like, hey Amanda, thank you so much. Oh, can you introduce me to your boss?
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten emails before saying, do you have an opening? Can you help me, you know, kind of get a foot in the door? And I think mentoring is great, but I always ask for them to send me their resume, what are your qualifications? And then I'm honest, if we don't have anything open at the time, then I tell them and then I offer help if I can.
I think communication is key to any of this. But if somebody comes up and asks me if I can help them, I may postpone it. I may say, no, I can't help you right now, or let me see your show. Because I'm not just going to go promote somebody I know nothing about.
The modeling industry is pretty much a self-marketing business. You have to market yourself. So if I look at you and I see that you're doing nothing to market yourself, but you're coming to me to ask for help, I'm not helping you.
Drinking at a networking event.
One drink, that's
One
it.
drink. Amanda, we know somebody who got in trouble doing this, right?
I say have a 2-drink limit. Or if you're like me and you don't have a tolerance, just don't drink.
Yeah, because you start spilling you start flapping at the mouth, and you start saying stuff and cozying up to your boss and doing the, you know, doing all kind of dancing and stuff. It's been interesting. I've seen a lot of interesting things. So you say 2-drink minimum and really watch it. Melissa, any advice on that?
Some people just shouldn't do karaoke.
Yeah.
And alcohol brings out the karaoke.
Yeah.
If you had to give one person a secret, what would be your secret?
I think coming to someone for advice. What are your tips? How did you get into the industry? Not coming straight forward and saying, I want a job. Like, how can you help me get a job? Just coming for it, because that'll probably organically happen on its own.
What about you, Melissa? Anything
Honesty.
advice?
I just need honesty. I need somebody to just, I'm going to say honesty 3 times in a row. I just be open.
Okay, just be open. Okay, and what about you, Deja?
I'm all about trying to, whoever it is, male, female, I want to support. I like seeing people succeed and do better. So, you know, I'm more than happy to help. But like I said, if I don't see that you're putting in the effort, why am I going to put in the effort for you?
And they may get the pat-pat hug.
And they may get the pat-pat hug, yes. I love you, boo.
It. Okay. Well, thank you, ladies, for all your wonderful advice, and we'll be right back.
Coming up on Healthier You.
How popular are teas around the world? I know we drink them here in the United States, but just how big are teas?
I think people don't realize that the tea is the most popular beverage in the world.
Today we're having a British tea party. No, I'm not from England, but our guest today is. She is Pat Hutto, and she is the owner of Plowcroft Teas, and she's here to tell us all about teas.
Yes.
And when we think about it, Pat, how popular are teas around the world? I know we drink them here in the United States, but just how big are teas?
I think people don't realize that the tea is the most popular beverage in the world.
The most popular?
Yes.
Over coffee?
Yes, over coffee.
Wow.
Yes.
And when I think about tea, it's not only tastes good, but it has some really great benefits. How good is tea for you? Because many of us don't even realize just all of the benefits that are there.
If you drink 1 or 2 or 3 cups of black tea every day, it has a huge amount of antioxidants in it, cleansing the body, you know, with toxins like smoking, things like that.
Wow.
It does help that a great deal. So it's a very healthy drink. This is how we serve tea in England. It goes into a pot of boiling water.
So just like this?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
But now, if you think about that, that has to, when it goes poured into a teacup, you have to have a little tea strainer, you know, to strain the tea leaves away so that you're not drinking.
Now, does it give it more of an intense flavor?
It does. It really does. So you don't need to brew it as long.
Tell me about these different teas and why you like them so much.
All 3 of these teas actually are wonderful for cooking as well. The Lapsang Souchong, it's like sitting over a smoky campfire. For instance, smoked salmon, steep it in a little lemon juice and some Lapsang Souchong that's been brewed. And and it's amazing.
And then we have 2 other types of tea.
The Darjeeling actually is the Queen's favorite tea.
It's the Queen. Why does she like this tea so much?
That's what I think, unless she's changed over the last few years, you know. But she looks good. So
she does. Yes. So she's drinking a lot of tea.
This is called the champagne of tea. It's a little bit lighter. It's not as robust as your regular English breakfast kind of tea.
We have this final type of tea.
The Earl Grey is not my favorite, but
it's the most popular.
It is the most popular.
I hear about it all the time.
Probably drink it with lemon rather than with with milk and sugar, which is what you would drink the other teas
But
with.
they're all good for you.
Excellent. Every one of them are black teas, so you can drink those.
Now, black tea versus green tea, any one better?
Green tea, it has a different benefit to it, but yes, the green and the black are both very, very healthy for you.
You've made something here
That's
with tea.
Earl Grey cake, yes.
So you can make a cake out of tea.
You can make so many things out of tea.
So there's just so much to learn.
Yes.
And if we want to be like we're from England, we need to steep our tea.
You do need to steep it, and you do need to take the teapot to the kettle while the kettle is boiling. Otherwise, it goes off the boil.
I love it.
It needs to boil.
Some great advice
Thank
from an
you.
expert,
Thank
and we'll
you,
be right
Joy.
back.
Guest accommodations for the Joy Sutton Show provided by the Hyatt Place Roanoke Airport. The newly renovated Hyatt Place combines style and innovation to create an upscale hotel experience. Set furnishings provided by Court. Furniture rental for your home, dorm room, and more. Set design by Potentially Chic. Joy's clothing provided by Talbot's. Wardrobe styling provided by What to Wear Roanoke. Shoes by Treadright. Makeup and nails by the professionals at Polished by Claire V. And hair and eyebrow services by Revive Salon, specializing in Aveda and organic salon systems.
You show people how to love you by how you love yourself. Are you patient with yourself? Are you kind to yourself? Do you forgive yourself? It all starts with you. I encourage you this week to start a love affair with you, even if it means buying your own flowers. You are just that special. And remember, every day is a little brighter when you start it with joy.
The Joy Sutton Show is a production of Sutton Impact Media.